Discussing the plans, this famous man said we can do it.
This episode, we got a BX native, somebody who I grew up with in the trenches, who's very special to this platform. He's like family. So without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Kutz Diego. Let's do this, champ. Unmute your mic, champ.
Kutz Diego, what's good? What's good?
Hey, we
Hey,
working.
Liz,
We working.
you know the vibes, man. What's up? Talk
Welcome.
to me. I'm here.
Yeah, welcome to Famous Made. I opened up the platform for people like myself originally to be able to get a platform where people could ask questions, get to know a little more about me. Then I said, what good is me having a platform and not sharing it with the artists who need some type of promotion and need to be on a platform that speaks volume. So we here now,
Us.
we vibrating high, and introduce yourself to the people, Cuts.
You already love. Appreciate that. You know that. It's your boy Kutz Diego. You know what I mean? Some call me the half a mil headed. You know what I'm saying? Some call me Flea. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, yeah, you know, Bronx native, Tremont baby. You know what I mean? Born and raised in the Bronx. You know what I mean? Spent 36 years out there doing my thing. Trials and tribulations of life led me to becoming this lyrical poet that I am right now. You feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, that's basically short story, long story short. You know?
Yes, sir. So running through the Bronx, how was it? Because everybody got a story, everybody got a neighborhood, everybody got a past. How was the Bronx, all in all?
The Bronx, all honesty, to me personally, is honorable. You know what I'm saying? Because I say that because you'll learn who you are as a person at an early age. You know what I'm saying? It's like you'll get tested very early coming up when I was coming up in the Bronx. Like, you know what I'm saying? They say the Bronx is a hard place, but at the same time it's honorable because whatever you go through, being there, you'll be like, nah, like I can go through anything. You know what I mean? I could get through anything, whatever you went through in life. It could be something positive, it could be something negative. But knowing in that environment, the Bronx, the bottom, you know what I'm saying? Especially East Tremont, where I'm from, that's like the heart of the Bronx. That's like the middle of the Bronx. Like, you know what I'm saying? So being from that part of the Bronx is like it was everything. You know what I'm saying? It's honorable. It was hard. It was some days it was easy, some days it was hard, some days it was a struggle. It was the Bronx, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You know?
Yeah. Coming up in the Bronx, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Nowadays, it's whatever music that they talk about or they speak passionately about. Like drill is pretty much the Bronx. I have been in the Bronx, in and out of the Bronx, being originally from the Bronx. So I'm just tilt my hat to that answer. But on another note, coming from the Bronx, how has that shaped your sound of music?
So coming from the Bronx is a very cultural place. Like a lot of people don't really know as much. Like it's a lot of different cultures in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Including myself. I'm from Honduras. You know what I'm saying? My mom and my pops is from Honduras. So I speak Spanish. You know what I mean? So coming up, you hear Spanish music, you hear some, you know what I mean, Afro beats. You feel me? You hear some hip hop. So you hear a whole mixture of different music. So that's what played a part in me. Like it was just culture. It's just different culture, going different blocks in different areas and just hearing different type of vibes and then just indulging that into my music. And then on top of that, the lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Just growing up and being involved in certain activities. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. So what what influenced you more, the Spanish side, the what else you mix with?
I'm basically Honduran. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
My
yeah,
mom and my
Honduran.
pop. Yeah, my
Okay.
mom and my pops is Honduran. You feel
So
me?
I never heard any Honduran music, but I heard Spanish music. Like,
All
was
right.
that played in the household?
Yeah, Honduran music was played in the household. And I mean, punta. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
Punta was played in the household. And I mean, J King, there was a artist by the name of J King. I mean, we had a reggaeton punta artist by the name of Shabakan. Know what I'm saying? My mom used to play them in the crib and all that. So it was stuff like that. That was played in the house. That played a major part. That made me like get in tune with like knowing rhythm, like knowing how to, I mean, flow. Like that gave me my wave. Like the punta gave me my wave on the low. Like I ain't even got a lot of kick it. The punta and the salsa. Cause my mom used to play a lot of Tito Rojas. You feel what I'm saying? She used to play just a lot of salsa music. You know what I'm saying? Tito Fuentes, all that. You know what I mean? Gloria Estefan and all that. So my mom used to play a lot of that. You feel me? So that played a major part too. And then me growing up in the Bronx and not living that far from Big Pun and Fat Joe and them, and they coming to the hood and they rapping, and then growing up with French and watching his progress in rapping, and you know what I'm saying, and then Harlem's right across the bridge. So then you go there shopping and you bumping into the diplomats and all them, and then you hearing them rapping and all that. I just played the whole. It was just play the whole part. I just played the whole part.
Yeah, it was a whole. It's like a whole earthquake. We recently just had an earthquake, but like when you think about the talent, how close it was in proximity, the Bronx is like a borough where it ain't that big, and you could get to each place faster. You go to Brooklyn, you can't even get on the highway to get to another part of Brooklyn. You got to ride through the streets. Harlem is so small, you can go from one place to the next place. I don't know too much about Queens or Staten Island, but the Bronx, you got different highways where you can get from the South Bronx to the North Bronx, or this part, four line, 6 line, 5 line, 4 line, 2 line, 3 line, whatever. But on where 3 line don't even stop in the Bronx, but you know,
You know.
but yeah. So when it comes to your style, you don't have like the average style. You don't have like the normal rap. Like your style is different, if you want
Yeah.
to put it like that. You just put out a project called Testarossa. You want to touch on that project and explain the
Yeah.
oral behind it? Because
So
when
yeah, talk to me.
yeah,
Yeah, so Testarossa, like Testarossa is basically, it's just an inspiration of me just speeding through the times of my life. You feel what I'm saying? So
mm-hmm.
in a vintage, I mean foreign. Like that's just me. I'm foreign and I like vintage shit. So you know what I'm saying? And I'm expensive on top of that. So it's like I'm a human Testarossa. Like so it's just speeding through my I'm just speeding through life with due to my trials and tribulations and experiences and stuff like that. So I put it all in, in a piece of paper and then just express it out in the studio,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's basically what Testarossa is basically like a is about. I mean, it's just me how you say it, like exploring my talent. You know what I mean?
yeah. Because the first record on there is the one with the hook. That's the best one for me. What's the name of that record?
That's called the start, and that was inspired by Noriega's song "Closer." You feel what I'm saying? Because I used to wake up every morning and hear that song. I mean, before I come outside, I used to get ready to "Closer." You feel what I'm saying? So when I heard that beat, that beat reminded me of that era. You know what I'm saying? So I just found a way to like just maneuver, and like I'm a student of the wave. You feel what I'm saying? Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, shout out to French, shout out to Max, free Max B. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. So I've been around these cultures. I've been around these individuals. So like they call me Kutz in the cut. You know what I mean? I'm always in the cut. That's why my name is Kutz. You feel what I'm saying? So I soaked up game being in the cut and then just observing the style and the vibe,
Yeah, for sure. Um, what do you say that this project has done so far? It's been out with like a week.
Yeah,
Yesterday was a week. How
yeah.
was the reception on the project?
The reception in the project was actually good. I actually like the feedback, like the reception I was getting, which was like conversations from fans, conversations from close ones, just trying to understand the project. Like, you know what I mean? It sounded kind of rushed or this, that, and third. So me explaining it and letting people know and what's going on, and I'm still embracing the talent was a plus for me. Like that was the feedback right there. That was enough feedback for me right there. Like just still embracing the talent. Like
Yeah,
yo, listen.
hold on. When you say rush, you want to break that down? What do you mean
Oh,
rush? People felt like it was rushed.
yeah, they felt like it was rushed due to the fact that I let the beat ride out at the end, and it sounded put together, but at the same time, it didn't sound as professional as my last project.
I was about to ask you that. So the thing one of the biggest takeaways that I have, I know your sound is your sound, but let's say if this was your best project, I don't think the world could have got what they could have got out of it because the mix wasn't there. The mix didn't elevate or extenuate what needed to be extenuated. So
Exactly.
you told me something behind the scenes which we don't got to get into, but I know.
Yeah.
So you know,
Yeah.
but since you brought that up, I figured let me just get my 2 cents in because
Yeah.
I already know once you got the super mix and a master, it's going to extenuate what you really trying to put out and dish out and give out, and you got to
Exactly. It's gonna give that feel. Like it's
yeah
gonna
that
get that
glow.
feel.
Yeah, but the cover art is good enough to entice people, man. That was like fire. You had like the Hot Wheels
Yeah.
kind of.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to whoever did that cover art.
yeah, Danny Custer, I mean, my guy, aka Super Nice. I mean, he produced Super Narcos. I mean, that's my first album, Super Narcos 1.5. He produced that. And I mean, he also do cover arts on a few of my projects. And I mean, he did the cover art on the Shine Freestyle. He did the
Mm-hmm.
cover art on Rick Ross Freestyle. He also did the cover art on Super Narcos. He did a few of my cover arts. Shout out to Kip, also Kip the Fog. You know what I'm saying? He's an artist also. He did art for like West Side Gun and all of them. He did art on. He did a few of my covers also. A couple of my covers, to be honest, like just two. But that's
Mm-hmm.
my guy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm big on the cover art. That's one thing about me. I'm very big on cover art.
Yeah, that's important. It's like the store. Like when you go into a store, a lot of people go into a store because how it look on the outside. So the outside presentation is always good. Now it's up to them to interpret if they want to stay there once they listen to the music and see if this is something that they want to do. But tell me a little bit about your backstory. Tell me a little more about, or tell the people more about, you had a situation with Kid Cudi that you was
Yeah.
telling me about. Just elaborate on that.
Yeah. So at a point in time, I was like 15. I was working at Dean and DeLuca on 85th and Madison. You know what I'm saying? And Kid Cudi was working there also. So we both basically got the job around the same time. So we got close to each other. So, I mean, he moved from Cleveland. When he moved from Cleveland, he lived in the Bronx. He lived in West Farms for like a couple weeks. While he was living in West Farms, I used to come and visit him, and we used to go to work together and stuff like that. In the midst of that, you know what I'm saying, he was working on his talent. He came from Cleveland to rap. Like that's what he came out here to do. He came to rap, and he was gonna make it. And he told me, and the passion I seen in his eyes, I was like, nah, he's gonna make it. Like I'm not gonna. I'm
Mm.
like he's gonna be one of them ones. So I seen the progress. I seen when he met Plain Pat, who was Kanye West's manager at the time. You know what I'm saying? And Plain Pat ended up, fucking with him and his EP, which was called A Kid Named Cudi. You know what I'm saying? Once they was fucking with each other on that note, Plain Pat was shopping him to different labels and he was getting dubbed. Like I remember when Def Jam dubbed him, he thought it was over after that. Cause Def Jam is one of them ones. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like he was like, yo, I'm done. Like I'm like, what? You bugging? Like you got Plain Pat. Like that's Ye's manager. Like, don't worry, you gonna be working with Ye. Like, Ye's
Mm-hmm.
that nigga. Trust me when I tell you. And he like, all right, we'll see. And now he's at where he's at. You feel what I'm saying? So shout out to him. Shout out to Scott Miss Scuddy. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Also, little backstory that as far as the Bronx is concerned, you got a couple Bronx legends. You missing Big Pun, Fat Joe. How about French Montana? Let's speak on French Montana, Coke Boys, your
yeah.
backstory with them.
So those family, man, I grew up with them, man. Like literally grew up with them. Like, you know what I mean? Went to school with Zach, you know what I'm saying? Grew up with French, like watched the whole process, even with selling the Cocaine City DVDs for French at a point in time. Like when the nigga was down and out and shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
like that's family. Like so when I seen that progress also. And all that led up to, because even my favorite rappers and all that, like they're workaholics. And I just seen even the people that I just rubbed shoulders with, like they was workaholics. Like Cuddy was a workaholic. He was always in the studio. He ain't even buy lunch. Like he used to save his lunch money in studio time. Nigga used to be starving, stomach touching. French in the studio. You feel what I'm saying? With Max. And then once he locked in with Max, it was over. Like Max work ethic is just different. Like Max work ethic is just beyond, like it's unhuman. You feel what I'm saying? So just watching that, you know what I'm saying? Then when Chinks came home and then Chinks was around and then being around Chinks and watching Chinks and just watching this work ethic and then just seeing where they got from like where they came from there, like where it's at now. Like it's just just remarkable. You feel what I'm saying? And growing up with him and having certain conversations, personal conversations, and just observing certain, just having an experience of life with French is just enough. You know what I'm saying? It's just a blessing in itself. You feel what I'm saying? So that alone was like, I took that in heat. You know what I'm saying? I remember one day we was in a car, we was driving, and one nigga was calling his phone crazy, like, yo, where you at? Like, yo, what's up? Where you at? I'm trying to get in. And he like, yo, I get there when I get there. And then he just hung up. Boop. But when he hung up, he like, yo, these niggas be bugging. Like, these niggas acting like they the rapper. Like, nigga, I'm the rapper. Nigga, like, I gave some niggas a lifestyle. Like, and I was like, wow. Like, but at the same time, an unhumble individual would have took that in a disrespectful way. Like, oh, what do you mean by that? You feel what I'm saying? I'm very humble. Like, I'm just a humble individual. So I looked at it like, nah, I get where he's coming from. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, certain people wouldn't be able to rub certain shoulders if it wasn't for him bringing certain people around. You know what I mean? So I'm like, like shit like that, you got to take in heat. Like, you got to hustle every moment you get, and everything you got to just make the best out of it. And you just got to be a pro at it. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense. Totally makes sense. You definitely gotta be around people who work ethic is very strong, because when they work ethic is strong, it's gonna rub off on you. Even if you feel like you moving at Mach speed, somebody might be moving like Mach speed times 10. So it's like
Yeah.
you like a silver bullet, the train. You know, you gotta put in that work. If you was to have a super group, who would the members be in your super group? Hip hop.
Hip hop. So, dead and alive, or
Just a
doesn't matter?
super group. Just a super
Alright,
group. You could pick however you want to pick it.
alright. So, Biggie, Hove, Wayne, Drake, and I want to say Foxy.
You want to put yourself in that category?
Like, that's the super group. Like, I would have.
Uh,
That's the super group. Like,
uh,
right now, like, that's the
so
super group.
you would have just managed them.
Yeah, I manage them.
Okay, makes
I,
sense.
I manage them. That's the super group. Like, that's the
Okay,
super group. Like, right
makes
there.
sense. Most people put themselves in the group, but that makes sense.
Yeah, like, that's the super group. Now, upcoming super group, I put myself in there. Upcoming, like, yeah, like,
Okay,
next up, the next class, yeah, I put myself in there.
okay. And then
Mhm.
if you had to describe your music in a color, what would that color be?
If I had to describe my music, ooh, um, that's a good answer. If I had to describe my music in a color, what would my color be?
Hmm.
I would want to say like forest green.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's out, it's outside, it's very, you know what I'm saying? Organic. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Fresh. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Forest green.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then when it comes to your branding, if you had to describe your branding visually, what would that be?
If I had to describe my branding visually,
Yeah, describing like 2 words.
anonymously expensive.
Okay, okay. Kutz Diego,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with that rapid fire on Famous Made. Any other words that you got for the people that you want to leave to the fans, supporters, anybody who looking to contact you? How do people contact you and make
Yeah.
some things shake?
All right, man. You know, if you want to contact me, you can contact me at on Instagram at Kutz.Diego. Kutz.Diego. You know what I'm saying? Shout out, or you could just hit John Dutch, you feel what I'm saying, or DMG Music Group. Shout out to the family, shout out to John Dutch. I got 1,500 miles and running coming out real soon, something like next month. Um, More projects on the come. I got Super Narcos 2 coming out. Um, Shout out, just look out for me, man. I'm just gonna keep working. The work don't stop. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not in a rush to be where I feel I need to be. Like, I'm just taking my time and I'm just being me. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not in a rush at all
Hmm.
whatsoever. And then just, I mean, I appreciate all the love and um acknowledgement when it comes to my talent. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. Real shit.
This is the first online, how you say, virtual interview that I've done. All of the other ones have been in person. So we open it up with cuts, and we're gonna allow other artists to come on this platform, whether you in Japan, whether you in Africa, whether you in Ohio, whether you in California, whether you in Bali, wherever you at. We open up the platform for artists to make sure that they message is heard, and we just gonna keep it pushing on Famous Made High Vibrations. Let's get it. You just jumped on, and now you out of the soul elevator. A.